Hey, how you doing? So I took a few days off from blogging. Um, well, I was away from my house for a while. I got a job um, doing some synthesizer programming, which is a job I don't get too often these days, which I used to get a lot more because nobody programs anymore. When you get something, you have thousands of millions of possibilities that you could download, whatever. So no big deal. Just a surprise job. So, anyways, I broke my fast on Thanksgiving. I was feeling some really weird energy, and it was the 13th day. It would have been the next day, would have been the day that I would have implemented the final protocol in the gallbladder flush. And for me, going on the fast when I did, with the combination of other things that I was doing, the herbs and the enemas and colonics, which I stopped doing the enemas every day. I haven't done one since Thanksgiving morning. Um, I'm continuing the colonics, and I'm going to fit in a schedule, but I was really digging into some emotional stuff, really, really deep. And I don't know where I'd have been if I would have been just staying around the house here, because when I went to my family's gatherings, which is um, wasn't a full house, but you know, by most people's Thanksgiving, it would be a full house. When there's a full house at my family's, because my dad's from a family of over a dozen, so with a full whole house, with that going 3 generations, we can get 100 people easy out of one of our things. So, but my point was just being around everybody. I was realized I was really tweaked out, um, and at the colonic previous that week, um, my colonic therapist is an intuitive person, meaning they can read beyond science or beyond the five sense world. That's what David Icke always calls it, the stuff that's outside the five sense world, which I'm really trying to implement into my life. The idea of faith healing or spiritual healing or whatever. Um, I think that's an important part of us. That goes just gets totally looked the other way. It's like not even for some people. It's just like you're a witch, or you're into magic or some kind of stuff. If you even believe in ghosts or the psychic phenomena, crystals or anything like that, which is just really funny. So, anyways, that's where I'm going with stuff. And so my colonic therapist said to me, and she, like I said, she's kind of connected into an intuitive world with what she does, and I've realized that there's different levels of intuition that certain people have. Like if somebody says something about a certain thing, I'll pay attention to it because it's that thing. But if, like, she told me once, she goes, "Oh, I think you better get ready. We're gonna have a fire this year," and I was like, I'm pretty intuitive with fires. I've predicted every year that we've had a fire here. So I was like, I kind of took that with a grain of salt. Um, anyways, so what I've decided to do, because I've been told from plenty of good sources, TCM diagnosis that I recently had, and then my full-time psychic told me that, and by psychic I'm going, it's not really full time. I'm seeing her like once a month, and she's a psychic, and she does NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, which I got to do a video about that by itself at some point. I really don't know how to approach, except to tell you what I'm doing and how it's affected me. So a lot of the sort of hardcore stuff I was doing in 2010, I'm getting the hell away from, just because um, I think I realized one thing is that you've got to live your life for your goals, and it's hard, like, to, like, when it comes down to, like, giving up your goals for your health or your health for your goals, that can be a strange thing. And so I felt like I was maybe pushing the edge where I'm giving up too many of my goals. And I've really gotten into a place of not necessarily having a preferred relationship that I should have with my music, because my health goals have been maybe too extreme. And I think you've got to sort of balance when you're getting into like the cutting edge of health, of healing a chronic disease, of maybe snapping out of something, or going through a life change. Because a big part of something that can totally change your health is just have a change in your emotions, the way you see things. And for me, that was a big thing that happened in this time 3 years ago, when I started doing therapeutic dosages of reishi in 2008. And mind you, I was doing smoking a lot of weed too. Probably one of the most creative times I've ever had in my life. And it's kind of like gotten me where I'm at, for sure. I've gone through like things that people would consider, what would that be? Like a cathartic, revelationary, like just explosive change through diet changes or stuff like that. And the different way that I viewed the world, after how reishi rearranged my mind, was powerful. So, and that's a part of me coming this distance of realizing that, the veganism and the raw foodism, which kind of defined me and got me in a way closer to the earth than I could ever be. And by the earth, I mean being able to like drive through something and see a bunch of trees, even if it's in a like total urban area, and connect with it. So that's one of the major things that happened to me. And I live in a rural setting where I see beautiful forests and views and stuff all the time. So what I'm getting to with this video is I realized from a bunch of people that I was relying on to help me monitor my health, saying my hormones were bad. And I really realized that when I was getting kind of a little loopy, a deep, strange kind of way. Because when I ate, I really settled myself down, and I realized I need to fix the hormone problem, because that's why I was getting kind of weird. And I have a strong will, so it's weird how that weirdness presented itself in me. It was I was feeling. For me, a bad thing is to feel is like I'm being controlled, or like I'm being given a set of templates, or things are becoming the same, where I'm losing that, what I call that very right brain side of me, which is what I'm always trying to tap into, which is part of my last addiction with coffee. So, and that can have hormonal issues also. So, realizing that I'm happy with my health, but the thing that I need to work on the most is getting rid of the caffeine. But I was thinking, the way the hormones are tied to the emotions and stuff like that, I really want to do a 1 month long experimentation with trying to like revive my hormones by totally going a little bit overboard with the primal diet mentality. I want to do a meal every day that features some kind of a good animal product, only, like grass-fed or wild-caught. I'm mostly interested in doing salmon, and a lot of this influence is coming from my own experiences of what I'm feeling, of being somebody who's 49, and I do feel that that's kind of a reason why my blogs are a little bit important, is because I'm sort of teetering with that, like I'm still like young looking, kind of well preserved, you know, and especially in days when I'm really hydrated, looking really good and stuff, and then, you know, showing some like serious aging signs. You know, it's like I'm half a year away from 49. So, like I said, that's why I was trying to say when I came back that my body's like a canvas. It's a really direct art in progress kind of thing. And that's just by using the term art instead of science. Some people would think it's a science, but I think it's an art in the sense of the things that you've got to get right. You got to find out where your uniqueness, you know, because if you're a very emotional person, as I am, it's like, for me, that's why I'm like going on this, like, I want to try something I've never done before. I want to eat large portions of meat, and my plan is I might deviate from it, but I'm gonna put up an episode every day of my one, because I eat one meal a day. So I'll, I'll do my episode when I'm eating, and I'll tell you what I'm eating, and we'll see what effect it has on me. And the thing that I knew was I was turning into the fast that I was doing was something that was really knocking at the core of my existence with my emotions and stuff like that, and stuff I got to work out, and relationships that I have with my music, especially now that I'm alone, and kind of I really realized that I'm like very back to the way I was when I was a teenager. Actually, I'm pretty happy being alone. Like being a loner is not a bad thing for me. It actually helps me to express myself more, because there's a lot that people demand of you when you're with them, even if it is a good relationship, because it is like a give and take thing. And so for me, it's I'm getting back to a point where I can express myself more freely. But now I've got to get this hormonal thing, because that is, you know, output of art is a yang thing, and my sort of reserves, which would be, I think I have all the power of all the herbs I've taken, but it's just like those channels, the kind of material that's needed to send that energy out into the body is kind of damaged. Like it needs to be a certain kind of a circuit, and I think that's going to be created from getting my hormonal stuff back in order. And I'm going to eat excessive amounts, like most of these recipes, and you can see where my belief system is. We'll go through this thing, and you'll see like exactly what I eat, and I'll try to be on that's why I went on every day, is to see if I could stay interesting for days in a row. So I'll get to the musical selection, which is a really good one. It's in this has a combination of a lot of things I like. The element of psychedelia, of like trip out music, of atmospheric, kind of like Pink Floyd, like You're Not There, maybe you're a little bit altered, mixed with ethnic, indigenous, third world sort of tribal charm. So this is a really old band. It's called Suns of Arqa. They started in the late 70s and did a lot of like sort of mixture of reggae dub, reggae bass lines and stuff like that, mixed with Indian music, sitars and chanting, and the sort of violin that's prevalent in Indian music, because the violin can play quarter notes, which is why that kind of music has that sound. So this is a mixture of that sound. And then in the 90s, they got into being a little bit kind of ravey, and so they got some beats going. And this piece of music that I'm recommending, I forget what it's even called. I don't think it has a title. It's just them jamming in Paris. And this is really cool music. So it is improvisational, and it is definitely a result of them from what they did in the 70s, and with the way that beat music in the late 80s, and especially rave music in the 90s affected them. This is really a perfect kind of music in my mind. So anyways, I'm just going to let you know that's what I'm doing. I'm going on a nourishing traditions type of diet, and with augmentation of being on body ecology diet and taking into account the principles that I've learned from a primal body, primal mind. With her also saying that being raw food vegan is 2/3 right, so there's going to be elements of that in there. Not totally abandoning the lifestyle, just trying to evolve it to what it's meant to be. Alright, this is Keith. Talk to you later. Bye.